Racist daughter gets pregnant by stepdad. When the truth comes to light, this happens. As Emily stood in the cramped confines of her bathroom, the reality of the positive pregnancy test in her hand seeped slowly into her consciousness. Her fingers clenched tightly around the thin piece of plastic, a lifeline that seemed to mock her with its certainty. Emily had always prided herself on her strength, her unyielding stance on her beliefs, regardless of how they divided opinion at school. But in this solitary moment, her defenses shattered, leaving her vulnerable and scared. Pregnancy was a scenario she had never envisioned for herself at 17. It was anathema to the controlled image she presented. David, Emily's stepfather, had consistently shown nothing but patience and a desire to understand her since he married her mother and moved into their lives. However, Emily had kept him at a distance. Her acceptance withheld due to the invisible line she drew because he was not her biological father. At home, his attempts at bonding were often met with indifference or sharp rebukes. His presence a constant reminder of the family dynamic she never fully embraced. Welcome back to PlotTwister. Before we unravel today's mystery, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you're always in the loop. Their home, a model of suburban aesthetics, often felt like a background of ideologies. Emily's staunch views clashed with the liberal inclinations of her parents, particularly with David creating a tense atmosphere that lingered over dinner conversations and weekend activities. The family's harmony was superficial, a delicate veneer that Emily's pregnancy threatened to fracture completely. Emily's outspoken conservative opinions at school had not only made her a subject of contention, but had also isolated her from many of her peers. These views were a shield behind which she hid her vulnerabilities, now faced with a situation that directly contradicted the persona she had crafted so carefully. Emily was engulfed by a sense of hypocrisy, the fear of judgment from her classmates, and the disappointment she anticipated from her parents loomed large, casting a long shadow over her future plans. The introduction hints at the layers of conflict and transformation awaiting Emily and her family. How will her peers react when they learn of her pregnancy? What changes will this personal crisis spark within her? The story is not merely about the unexpected turns of teenage pregnancy, but is also a deeper exploration of beliefs, family dynamics, and personal growth. Watch as Emily navigates through this turbulent phase, where each decision will reshape her understanding of herself and the world around her. Emily's inner turmoil spilled over when she confronted David in their kitchen. The space, usually filled with the aroma of Sarah's cooking, was now thick with tension. Emily, her voice shaking with emotion and fear, accused David of never truly understanding her because he wasn't her real father. David, taken aback by her outburst, stood silently, his face a mask of pain and confusion. He had reached out many times only to be rebuffed, and this rejection stung deeply. Emily stormed out, leaving David to ponder the widening gap between them, his steps to bridge it seemingly futile. Sarah, caught between her daughter and her husband, tried to mend the growing rift. She approached Emily in her room, where the teenager had retreated. Her room, usually a sanctuary, now felt like a cage as Emily's life seemed to spiral out of control. Sarah gently attempted to discuss the pregnancy and the need for family unity, but Emily's responses were sharp and tinged with bitterness. She hurled accusations blaming her mother for not supporting her enough against the world and David's different views. Sarah left the room heartbroken, her attempts to smooth things over unsuccessful. Back at school, the rumor mill churned with whispers of Emily's pregnancy. She walked through the halls, her head held high, but inside she felt the sting of every sideways glance and hushed giggle. Her previous status as a staunch voice in school debates now rendered her an object of hypocrisy and scorn. One particularly painful moment came when her former best friend publicly turned on her, criticizing her for failing to live up to the principles she so aggressively defended. This betrayal cut deeper than the rest, isolating Emily further in her social circle. In the face of mounting challenges, Emily's relationships with her peers deteriorated. She found herself eating lunch alone, her former friends having abandoned her for cooler, less controversial companions. The isolation at school mirrored her growing alienation at home, each environment now a reminder of her pariah status. Amidst the escalating crisis, an unexpected development occurred. Emily began finding small gifts and notes of encouragement left in her locker. Initially suspicious, she couldn't trace their origins. These small tokens, though mysterious, offered a glimmer of support in her increasingly lonely world. This subtle kindness sparked a tiny flame of hope that perhaps not everyone saw her as a lost cause, providing a sliver of comfort in her tumultuous daily life. As Emily's pregnancy progressed, so did her sense of isolation. School had once been a battleground where she could assert her views, but now it felt like a prison of judgmental glares and whispered rumors. She walked the halls with her head down, avoiding eye contact. Her belly was growing, and with it, the whispers grew louder and more frequent. Emily felt increasingly disconnected not just from her peers, but also from herself. The image in the mirror seemed to morph daily, and with each change, she recognized herself less and less. Her academic performance began to slip as her focus waned under the weight of her circumstances. David, noticing the increasing distance and Emily's struggling spirit, attempted a new approach to bridge the emotional chasm between them. He started by leaving small notes for Emily, each containing words of encouragement or a funny doodle trying to inject a bit of light into her days. He also made efforts to be present at breakfast, asking about her plans for the day or offering rides to school despite Emily's consistent rejections. His persistence was gentle but unwavering, a testament to his commitment to forging a bond no matter how much Emily resisted. Sarah, caught in the middle of her family's unraveling, faced her own battles. The gossip among other parents had reached her ears, affecting her relationships and standing within the community. At social gatherings, she noticed the cold shoulders and heard the hushed tones when she walked by. Professional interactions became strained as colleagues awkwardly avoided personal conversations, making her feel more isolated. Sarah's distress grew as she watched both her family and her social life crumble under the weight of public scrutiny. In an unexpected twist, Emily found solace in the company of a new teacher at school, Mr. Johnson. He taught social studies and had a knack for engaging students in thoughtful discussions without judgment. Sensing her distress, Mr. Johnson offered Emily a safe space to talk during his office hours. In these sessions, Emily found herself opening up about her fears and frustrations, grateful for an adult who listened without imposing more expectations on her. His office became a refuge from the storm brewing in the hallways and at home. The anonymous gifts and notes continued to appear in Emily's locker, each one a small beacon of kindness in her darkening world. She started looking forward to these moments of discovery, wondering about the sender who seemed to care without needing anything in return. These small gestures began to chip away at the wall Emily had built around herself, hinting at the possibility of reconciliation and support from unexpected quarters. Each note, each gift, it helped her feel a little less alone, suggesting that perhaps there was a way out of the emotional maze she found herself trapped in. As the relationship between Emily and David began to thaw, they found themselves sharing more moments together, particularly at the prenatal classes they started attending. These sessions, initially filled with awkward silences, gradually became times of tentative sharing. David spoke of his own fears and uncertainties about being a stepfather, while Emily listened, surprised to find common ground in their shared feelings of inadequacy. These classes not only educated them about the upcoming birth, but also unknowingly provided a neutral ground where their relationship could cautiously begin to mend. Rumors regarding the identity of the baby's father spiraled out of control, complicating the delicate balance Emily was trying to maintain. Whispers that David might be the father spread like wildfire through the community, fueled by misconstrued observations of their recent public outings to prenatal sessions. These rumors reached Emily's ears, adding a new layer of distress and confusion. She found herself cornered by accusatory glances and whispered insinuations, each one a dagger to her already fragile state. In a rare moment of reflection, Emily found herself revisiting her past actions and the path that led her to where she was. The quiet hours of the night brought clarity and remorse as she considered how her staunch views and harsh words had influenced not just her social standing, but also her personal journey. The loneliness of her situation weighed heavily on her, prompting a deep internal reassurement of her beliefs and the consequences they had wrought. A chance overhearing shifted Emily's perspective dramatically. Hidden away in the back of a family gathering, she caught snippets of a conversation about her late biological father, a man she scarcely remembered but often romanticized in her mind. The relative spoke of his own youthful mistakes and struggles with acceptance, a narrative starkly different from the idealized version she held. This revelation shook her understanding of her heritage and identity, planting seeds of doubt about her own rigid views. Confronting David about the swirling rumors became inevitable. Emily, filled with a mix of newfound understanding and lingering suspicion, demanded the truth. The tension between them peaked as she awaited his response, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and desperate hope for clarity. David, understanding the gravity of the moment, promised her a full explanation, hinting at secrets long kept that needed to be aired. His solemn vow to clear the air hinted at revelations that would change the course of their relationship forever. The long-awaited heart-to-heart between Emily and David took place in the quiet of the living room, where the air was heavy with anticipation. David took a deep breath, acknowledging the severity of the situation and the pain it had caused. He began by revealing something Emily never knew. He had undergone a vasectomy years before he even met her mother. The impossibility of him being the father was clear, factual, and irrefutable. Emily listened, her initial shock slowly morphing into relief mixed with confusion as the ground of her suspicion crumbled away beneath her. With the air cleared regarding David, Emily faced the truth about the real father of her child. It was a boy from her school, someone who had shared her conservative views and had been part of her circle. He had been too afraid to come forward, fearing the backlash that might ensue from their peers and the community. Given Emily's outspoken nature and the content of the rumors, Emily felt a mix of betrayal and understanding, knowing all too well the pressures of public scrutiny and the fear of judgment. In the aftermath of David's revelations and learning the identity of the baby's father, Emily took time to reflect on her situation. She pondered her past judgments of others, her harshness, and the ironclad persona she had crafted so meticulously. The realization dawned on her that her actions and words had shaped her path to this moment in more ways than one. This introspection was painful but necessary, as it opened her eyes to the complexities of human behavior and the unintended consequences of rigid beliefs. Feeling a burgeoning responsibility to mend the wounds she had inflicted, Emily reached out to those she had alienated, including her once close friends. With humility, she sought forgiveness, explaining her newfound understanding of her own flaws and missteps. The conversations were difficult and fraught with emotion, but they marked the first step towards reconciliation and healing for Emily. In a decisive turn toward personal growth and change, Emily decided to publicly address the issues of racism and prejudice she had once perpetuated. She planned a speech for a school assembly, aiming to share her journey from judgment to understanding, from isolation to community. Her hope was to transform her experience into a catalyst for broader change among her peers, encouraging a shift from decisiveness to mutual respect and understanding. This commitment to speak out marked a significant pivot in her life, one that promised to redefine her identity and future. As Emily stepped into her new role as a mother, her personal transformation was evident not just to her family, but to everyone around her. She became more open, more empathetic, and significantly more reflective about the impacts of her actions on others. This shift was palpable at home, where she began to forge a genuine bond with David, seeing him no longer as an outsider, but as a true parental figure. Their relationship blossomed from strained, pointless, to warm conversations and shared responsibilities, painting a new picture of family unity that had once seemed so unattainable. The family dynamic underwent a profound change, healing from the turmoil of the past months. Sarah and David, once cautious around Emily, now found joy in her company and in their shared commitment to supporting her through motherhood. The household became a place of laughter and support, replacing the previous tension with newfound harmony. This healing extended beyond the walls of their home, slowly repairing the social rifts that had been exacerbated by the pregnancy scandal. In her social circles, Emily worked diligently to rebuild bridges. She reached out to those she had hurt or pushed away, using her experiences to mend old friendships and cultivate new ones. Her efforts were met with a mix of skepticism and acceptance, but each positive interaction fueled her determination to create a more inclusive environment around her. The friendships that emerged were built on stronger, more honest foundations, reflecting her personal growth and the lessons she had learned. Emily's commitment to change was publicly showcased at the school assembly, where she had delivered her speech. Standing before her peers, teachers, and some parents, she spoke candidly about her journey from a place of judgment to one of understanding and acceptance. Her words resonated with many, sparking conversations and reflections among her audience. This moment was not just a personal triumph, but also a public declaration of her new path, one that advocated for empathy and open dialogue. The story concludes with the arrival of Emily's baby, a moment that brought the family together in a celebration of new life and new beginnings. This event marked not just the expansion of their family, but also the cementing of their bonds and the promise of a brighter, more inclusive future. Emily, once feared and isolated, now looked forward to a life filled with love, challenges, and the joy of raising her child in a home where understanding and compassion prevailed. What are your thoughts on the twist we uncovered today? Comment your ideas below. Make sure to like and subscribe for a daily dose of drama and mystery. See you later with another twist.